In 2024, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a YouTube court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the 2A team. All right, everyone, welcome to episode 3 of the 2A Team podcast. We all have our 2A Team merch, and basically, I don't really know how we're going to start this, if we can just get into a conversation here, but we just want to let you guys know we have merch for sale right now. We have patches. Each of us have our own patches for sale, so if you want any patches, we'll have them. My patches will be linked to the video, and then all of these other guys, you go to their channels. They'll be in the description, and you can hit them up via email and their channel bio if you guys want to support the channels, buy a patch. Also, one more thing before I hand it off. 2A Team patches are coming, so I might get those on the website and get a little pre-order going. We basically went all in on the patches together, so anybody who buys a patch, you'll be supporting. We're going to split it up 5 ways. We have talked about doing a collaborative bundle of each of our patches, but they ship out from different locations. So I mean, we could do it, but I'd have to coordinate with each of them and say, hey, this person bought a patch bundle. We need to send patches to him. So I think that would work.
Yeah.
I'll probably do that here pretty soon after I get I'm gonna get the 2A Team patches and the patch bundle added to the website. All right, what's first on the agenda here? Anything new? I know we had an event take place pretty close to Eyes and Ears. If you want to shed some light on that, some insider knowledge, I know you posted a few videos on it.
Yeah, you guys all know about it. That's crazy, man. This town, they had the vigil last night. I put the link to the live vigil on the community tab last night. So the brass bands came out and they all performed. They built an impromptu mural for each one of the victims. And the reason why the number count, I want to clarify something, because when it first broke, it said 15 dead, and then it went to 14. So what happened was, we, in collaboration with the FBI and the mayor and Commissioner Kirkpatrick and several victims, they didn't want the perpetrator to be included in the victim count. So they -1, but loss of life was 15, but they didn't want to recognize him inside of that group. So that's why if you see the reports and it says 14, that's the reason why it jumped down. But yeah, it was pretty surreal going down there. Yeah, because me and my wife, we went down there, had lunch in the French Quarter on this historical street, Esplanade. Have you ever seen the movie 12 Years a Slave? Esplanade, that's the street where he was basically sold at. Basically, they have all these monuments in New Orleans, that's why it's a cool city, because New Orleans doesn't hide the history. So a lot of cities hide their history. They don't want young people, old people, in between people knowing the absolute 100% history of the communities that they live in. And if anybody's ever been to New Orleans, they'll tell you that's one of the first things that resonates, is that it's right there in front of your face. Every piece of history, it's all landmark. It's like one of our oldest cities in the country, as far as everything. It has so much history, but it's not hidden. So it makes you feel really kind of honored a little bit. Whereas when the cities hide stuff and then you find out other things, it makes you kind of don't like the city that much anymore. So going down there was really surreal. It was very somber. It wasn't as ruckus as it normally would be. Now, granted, the Sugar Bowl was over, and a lot of that, those people left, and so the new flux of vacationers come in. So and following that tragedy, it definitely was a little more somber. But it was really nice to see all the people that were, supporting the victims. They were all, everybody was crying. I was crying, everybody crying, and just, looking at the mirror. You could hear a pin drop on the corner of Canal and Bourbon, like that area that I showed that video. That place is loud, bro. That Walgreens, all that, that's a super, super busy intersection. And you could have dropped an actual pin on that corner and you would have heard it. Like it was just it was so much respect given. And then later on that evening, they did the whole band and they all came out there. So yeah, man, that's what's going on down here. People are kind of, but New Orleans is a resilient city though. This city's used to bad shit happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of these southern states, when stuff goes awry, they're kind of not like, no one's used to bad stuff happening, but at the same time, they have generational knowledge of like your grandpa went through this, your auntie went through this. When I was in the middle school, that hurricane took out our whole, so they got people who've actually been through natural disasters and bad stuff happening, and they just rebuild it, clean it back up, and march on the next day, and they celebrate it. They don't really run from it again. Like again, they don't run from it. This is a tragic event, and over 10,000 people went down to the French Quarter last night for the vigil, and bands were playing and people were celebrating. You would think it was a party, but they considered a celebration of life. You know what I'm saying? They were celebrating these people. They weren't just down there drinking, getting smashed.
Yeah.
And you just don't see that in a lot of major cities, really.
Yeah, New Orleans, it's a major city, but then at the same time, it doesn't feel like San Francisco, New York.
No, it's
Now, I will say
definitely
this.
one of the
I
coolest
will
places.
say this: the people of the people in these metropolitan cities have a big impact on how tourists view the city. And what I'm saying is that, in defense of San Francisco, when you come as a tourist, the tourism is a bigger entity in the areas that you're frequenting, right? Where you're going at. But when you come to New Orleans, everybody in your face practically that you're going to come across is a local. Like you're gonna have a lot of tourists, but all the stores, the vendors, most of them were born and raised there. It's so amazing. Like nobody's really an import, so to speak. They're imports here, but I mean, I'm an import. But I'm saying, but the base of the culture, the texture of the culture are homegrown men and women and children.
Yeah, it seems like you're getting into the Cajun culture. You're making gumbo. Man, that looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I've never
I guess,
had any of that.
well, my mom was born in Louisiana,
Oh
so
yeah,
not
I
like
remember you saying that.
I lived in Monroe for 3 years, and my dad was born in Arkansas, so I've kind of got a lot of Southern blood in me.
Yeah,
Grew up in the Midwest. At the very least, I'm a Midwestern guy. I just happened to grow up in the West Coast, so I kind of feel like I was blessed, to have that Southern roots, and then
yeah,
have the Midwest inner city of Chicago, and then get indoctrinated into the California West Coast living, and lived on both parts of the state too, which is unique. I lived in the Bay Area and I lived in San Diego. I never lived in Los Angeles, but for the most part, I frequent there enough to get a nice vibe for the Los Angeles area. But David will tell you, most people don't live in both parts of the state of California. Either they're from Southern Cal or they're from Northern Cal. And then you got a couple of them sprinkled in between in the Central Coast and in the mid, inland, like Fresno and Central Valley and stuff like that. But most people don't really go both sides.
yeah. Like I've lived here pretty much my entire life since I was 3, so I haven't really got to experience living anywhere else other than like we lived in Gulfport, Mississippi for maybe a year or so when I was a kid, when I was 2. So I remember a little bit of it, but it's not like enough to hold on to anything. Anybody got anything interesting?
Well, I was kind of wanting you kind of give me a little rundown on suppressors. I'm looking to get my first one, and I don't know much about them. I'm just old redneck. But I don't know the numbers down on the suppressors. So I wanted you guys to give me a little bit of, you know, kind of a rundown. I'm looking at maybe getting the Omega 36, a good do it all can.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Uh,
that's the one I recommended to Mark too, because he was asking me this pretty much the same question a while back, and I don't have any personal experience with it, but Low Pro Operator has one, and he loves it. He posts videos with it all the time, and it's truly like other than like a 45 or a 40, like up to 9 millimeter, it's pretty much a do all can. So
right.
that's probably the one. If I could go back and if I could only have one, that would probably be it. just because I have a 40 and a 45, but I don't really ever really plan on shooting them suppressed. The process to get one is really not that hard. They kind of make it seem harder than it is. I think Silver and Black was also wanting to get into maybe getting one before they completely outright ban them over there. So
Yeah.
I'll kind of go through a little rundown of how to basically get started to buying a suppressor. So the first thing is figure out which one you want to get. And that's where the research comes in. Watch videos, figure out what you want to put it on. Like, do you want one for everything? Do you want one for just your pistol? Anything like that? So that's why I recommended the Omega 300, just because it is to do all pretty much.
Right.
Even though it is a little more expensive, you're pretty much saving money in the long run by not having to
Right.
buy another one like I did. So my first one was the Omega 300, and I actually have them right here. But I kind of put off buying it for a while, but this is the Omega 300, just a 30 caliber. And then you have your mount here, which you can get multiple different mounts, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit. But first thing you want to do, figure out which one you want. Next, you're going to want to either go to your local gun store. They're most likely going to be a silencer shop dealer if they already sell silencers.
Yep.
There's a few other companies that do the transfers for you. You could do it on paper, but it's a lot more complicated. I've never done it, and it takes longer. So the e-forms, that's what they call it, the e-form. Basically, you do everything online. So there's two main companies that I've dealt with is Silencer Shop, which you have to go through your gun store to actually get it transferred to you. And then there's Capital Armory. And the cool thing about Capital Armory is after you get approved, they'll actually just send it straight to your house. So the process for both of them is pretty much the same. You want to create your account, create your ATF eForms account, which you can do on just type in ATF eForms and that website will pop up. You want that account created first. Then you go figure out your silencer, you buy it, and then it's going to either automatically add your $200 tax stamp to the cart, or you're going to have to add it to the cart. They have a little option for it. Basically, what you're doing is you're giving them money because they actually pay the tax stamp when you do the transfer. So you're giving them $200, but then they're paying it. Next thing you want to do after you bought it, you're gonna have a profile to fill out when you make your account. I'm kind of going out of order because I'm forgetting some steps, but you want to fill out your profile. It's basically similar to a 4473 online. You just say you're not going to sell this to anyone, you're not a felon, this and that. If it's through Silencer Shop and you have a Silencer Shop kiosk at your gun store, they have a fingerprint scanner. You just go in, scan your fingerprints, you upload a photo, and then you're good to go. With Capital Armory, you can either send in a fingerprint card. I have one here. Let me see if I can. It's got my social security number on it and my address and all that. Let me see if I can block all this stuff out. I'll fold it. So you get your fingerprint card, and they can send you one of these. You can buy one. They'll send you the whole kit, and you do that. You can do that, or you can go into one of their recommended fingerprint scanning locations. And what I did actually was Silencer Shop already had my fingerprints on file, and I think they charge you like $40, and they'll actually send you these fingerprint cards, and then you can send those to Capital Armory. So either way, they need your fingerprints. Then you're going to get an email that's going to be a DocuSign. So that's where you actually sign it's called a Form 4. That's the application to transfer a NFA item. So like a suppressor, short-barreled rifle, short-barreled shotgun, stuff like that. So you'll sign it. Then a few days later, most of the time, sometimes it took me quite a bit longer on the last couple suppressors that I got, but you'll get the next email to say ready to certify. So that's when, if you're going through Silencer Shop, they have basically like a system where you can remote in with your gun shop dealer, and they'll actually walk you through the steps. You just fill out a few more questionnaires. Like, it's kind of like a 4473, but it's a little different. You do that. Once you're certified, then you just have to wait. With Capital Armory, it's the same thing, except you don't have to deal with the gun store. You go straight with them. You do the same exact stuff. get certified, and then you just wait until you get approved. Now, here's where it gets a little different between Silencer Shop and Capital Armory. So with Capital Armory, once you get approved, they'll send it straight to your door. But it's some kind of law, a nationwide law. I'm pretty sure they have to send your chief law enforcement officer of your county. They have to let
Oh,
them. They have to let
no,
them know that you're getting this, and there's a 7-day waiting period after you get approved. So
no.
you wait 7 days, then they ship it, but it goes straight to your house. With Silencer Shop, once you get approved, you just go down there, pick it up same day, which it may be different in restricted states that actually allow suppressors like Washington State. I'm not sure if they have any like 10-day wait or anything like that, but that's
I'm
how
sure
it
we
works.
a wait time period and stuff like that. But Washington State is weird on suppressors, you guys. It's like we're not allowed to order anything with a threaded barrel,
Yeah,
but we're allowed to buy a suppressor.
doesn't
So
make sense.
Yeah.
pretty weird. You know what I mean? So, and I think pretty soon, they're probably going to put a ban to that too. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure you start off with the threaded barrel first, and then you move to the suppressor. You
Yeah.
know?
And that sucks because if they do ban them, are they going to be grandfathered in? Because that's a once any NFA item, suppressor, short barrel rifle, those are actually registered and they're in a registry. When you buy a gun, all you do is fill out, and it's probably different between states. Some states might have their own registry, but like when you buy a gun, it's not technically registered to you. I know a lot of people say that, oh, this is a registered firearm, blah, blah, blah. And maybe in California, it's a little different. Mark, you can maybe speak on that. But when you buy a gun at a gun store, you fill out the 4473, that stays with the gun shop until they go out of business pretty much. And then it goes to the ATF and it basically sits in a filing cabinet. Now, there probably are some kind of backdoor registries. Like I've seen ATF agents going into gun stores, taking pictures of all the forms and stuff. So I'm sure there is some kind of backdoor registry, but there's not supposed to be.
Mhm.
But yeah, do you have to register your guns in California, Mark? Is that
No,
it?
no, it's I don't know. I think they all register pretty. I think anytime you buy anything from a FFL, a reputable FFL, like a gun shop, whatever, regardless if you don't go to some agency and register your firearm or not, you're in a database, whether you want to believe it
Yeah.
or not.
Well, the
You're in a
Knicks,
database.
the
Yeah.
Knicks,
Even if it's just for the pure bill of sale,
yeah,
you're gonna be in a database. Okay. So with that being said, no, there's no extra. You just like you said, fill out the form, say I'm not going to sell it to somebody else. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a crook. This, that, and the other. And then you wait and come in and you give your fingerprint, your thumbprint at the purchase, and at the 10-day hold, your gun come in. You pass the background check. Your gun come in 10 days. Wait and get it, and you walk out the door with it. Not,
yeah.
but I'm not naive enough to believe that you can walk into a licensed gun shop, buy a firearm, and they don't have a record of you buying that gun.
Yeah, they got all
Well,
that.
that's what I'm saying. There is a record. There's technically not supposed to be a national, it's like against the law to have a national registry of gun owners, but you know that somewhere, some back room, back alley in DC, they've got some kind of database going on. Because when they used to call and do your background check over the phone. Now they do it on the computer, so I'm
Right.
sure some of that info is getting saved somewhere.
Yeah.
Mhm. Now that could help you too. Now,
Yeah,
because if you didn't have that kind of like backing you, and let's just say whatever happens, you take ill and you don't, no one knows you got all these guns hidden around, and it gets into a bad guy's hand. It would
Mhm.
be nice to know, like, hey, wait a minute, this, that. I mean, it could be a system where you might not want people to know you own the gun, the government to know, and then it could be a situation where no, you I don't own an AK. Look at all my guns. Go
yeah,
go call Bud's gun shop. I bought every firearm I own from Bud's. I give you right there. I'll tell them. I'll send an email saying they can give my information up there. I've never owned a HK VP9. I've never bought. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it would be something that could probably help you if someone's trying to stick something on you.
yeah. That's the thing too with like if you sell a gun to somebody private, private sale, person to person, they go and commit a crime with that, and the gun is found. They trace that serial number back. First, they go to the manufacturer, I believe. then they go to whatever distributor the manufacturer sold that to.
Yep.
Then they go to the individual gun store. Then the gun store says, "Hey, we sold it to this
Yep.
person,"
Right.
and
And
that's
that's
the
why you
last
should,
line of it.
right.
when you
And
get a
that's why you want
target,
to be selling your guns, sell them through a FFL.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
know why people do private sales because, oh, I keep the money. I don't got to pay that fee. And it's faster. I met the guy down at Applebee's. It was whoop, whop, wham. He just signed that. Yeah, but you don't know what this cat going to do with this gun, technically.
Mm-hmm.
But so if you go through an FFL, kind of give you a sense of like, hey, I did it the right way.
Yeah,
I mean, what more
then
could I have done? What more could I have done?
at least
but also is like let's in Washington State, family up to a first cousin, you're allowed to gift a firearm to somebody to just gift
Yeah.
of nothing but.
Yeah.
If somebody does do that, I suggest like making a bill of sale, bro.
Right.
Take
Absolutely.
a piece
Yeah.
of paper with the date, write the serial number, the model, make of the gun, and both of you guys sign it on that date. You know, this firearm was gifted to so and so. Both of you guys, at least you have something like,
Yeah.
yo,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
sold on this date, you know.
I ain't got that. I sold it to so and so.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Y'all.
That way, 5 years down the road, if the family member sells it to some random
Right.
dude and he commits a crime and throws it in the pond or river or whatever, and it comes back to you, you can say, "Here, I sold this thing 5 years ago."
Mhm.
But yeah, it's tricky, and I don't know if there's been any cases of people getting their doors kicked in for stuff like that, but I'm sure there have been.
There is actually, you know, be honest with you, because a matter of fact, it's most people notice who've been around law enforcement is that. So what happens is when a gun is used in a crime and it gets locked up, those guns are supposed to be destroyed. Now, you guys may not notice, but the Glock store, Lenny McGill, his store in San Diego, if you can pull it up, how he almost lost his FFL license was his employees were taking guns that were supposed to be destroyed, barrels and slides primarily, and then they would resell them on the side. So a lot of law enforcement guys do that. When guns get caught up in lockup for a crime, whatever, and the dude goes to jail for 40 years, and they'll strip the parts out and then use them and sell them. And there's been cases where the rifling and some of these barrels showed up in the crime report that was then they go find a person who owned the gun. They say, wait a minute, oh, my cousin used that gun in that crime. That gun got taken by the police, and then it opens up a whole investigation.
Yep.
How did that gun get back into the public sector when it's supposed to be destroyed? So a lot of destroyed firearms that's supposed to be destroyed, like these gun buybacks, a lot of those guns do not get destroyed, bro. Unfortunately, they wind up in the wrong people's hands because it's always that consummate pressure of greed. Someone's always going to get greedy.
Yeah.
So if you have a county says, hey, we're going to do a gun buyback, come down to this convention center and bring in all your guns. The old ones, even if they don't work, we'll say check them. We're going to destroy them and get rid of all of them. No, they don't. They don't get rid of all those guns. Those guns end up going right back into some other dealer's hand and get sold to other people. Some might get destroyed, but there's a lot of cases out there where people confiscated firearms and using deadly violent cases end up back on the street somehow. But they don't want to expose all that because a lot of that's being pilfered by law enforcement, man. You know, it's just one of those things. And then in the military, there's a lot of military grade weapons on our streets right now. And they've been actually put out there by active military people.
Yeah, I saw this thing, this couple, they ordered some kind of military rifle cases. They were supposed to be just empty cases, and then they got sent a case full of M16s.
Yeah.
Well, daggum. Wish I would have got lucky.
I know.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
stuff.
they reported it, and but some people, I mean, how many other times does that happen? You know what I mean? Or how many times have those seized weapons from evidence lockers or whatever ended up across the border?
Even the drugs, the
Yep.
drugs get redistributed.
Oh,
when it
yeah.
comes to a big, large drug bust, pounds and pounds of cocaine comes up missing all of a sudden.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then they go down to the local little thug on the corner, dump him about 6 bricks, and say, "Hey, give me my 500,000 in 3 weeks, and keep it moving." You know, and people don't want to believe that, but that's how this country works, man. Money pushes a lot of buttons.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's bad. The corruption, there's always gonna be corruption no matter what.
But back to the suppressors. So I saw that there's the ability to get a trust, and I kind of heard a little bit on it about it the other day. Would you kind of explain that to me?
So I don't really know a whole lot about the trust. I do know, let's say when you get a suppressor, it's registered to you, right? So you can't
Right.
sell it. unless you go through a bunch of paperwork. Basically, the trust is there. So if you die or something happens to you, whoever else is on that trust, it can be an actual legal owner of it.
Yeah, that's how I understood it.
Now,
but they probably still have to get fingerprinted and all that still.
yep,
though.
every person on the trust has to get fingerprinted. I've always done them as individual. It's just faster, and I really don't have anyone else to be on a trust really other than my wife. But I mean, she's not a gun person, so she's not gonna ever. But yeah, like say you and your dad went on a trust together, you could say, here, Dad, go. You can borrow this and go shoot it whenever you want. But with me, I would have to physically be in the immediate vicinity of whoever's shooting this.
Yeah.
So that's the trust does take longer though. So I mean there is, but nowadays wait times are like this one. My first one took me 9 months. I got my next two within 1 and 2 days of submitting the form, and then this new one that not this one, but the other two that I got, those took like 10 days, I think, and this one that I just got took like 4 days. So wait times are super low. Like now is probably the best time to buy one and I'm sure the wait time's only going to get lower and lower.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're working overtime over there because I got approved on a Saturday.
Huh.
And big government is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, pretty much.
Right. Well, that's my plan, is to get the Omega 36 just for a do it all can, and then in the future, if I want to get something specifically for 300 blackout, then that's what I'll do.
Or it'll work for it.
Right, it will, but it won't be, the ideal suppressor for.
It'll still be good.
Still be quiet.
Now, like this one's a 30 caliber. Little product placement here, but I am Jaguar Silencer sent me this. So pretty cool. They're 3D printed.
Wow.
It's metal. It's a Inconel 718 Inconel 3D printed. They use like metal powder and they take a laser and it welds the individual layers together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is neat.
But Silver and Black was asking me about the mounting systems, and I was kind of talking to Eyes and Ears about it too. This is where the money is. You buy a suppressor, but then for the mount, you need a mount for all your guns, unless you want to do direct thread, and those are less reliable and they'll just come loose on you. So I use the cherry bomb mostly. I've got a bunch of them. You guys have seen them.
Right.
This has threads on the end, and then there's a little taper, so it seats pretty well. None of them have ever came loose on me, and you just crank it hand tight. It's not like a ratchet or anything like that. But the thing is, the muzzle brakes, you got to get one for each gun. You got to buy, and depending on which one you get, it could be different. The mount, you really only need one mount. This is like $130 probably. You can get them around there. And the muzzle brakes on sale, I usually get them for like $78.
Oh, okay.
That's not too bad.
That's where the money is, because I mean, I got like 10 or 11 of these. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna probably have to do that because I'm trying to suppress 300 blackout at 5.56.
Now I didn't buy them all at one time.
9 millimeter.
Yeah, and they make one for the 9mm too. I got it on the Chris Vector. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to get this. I just keep everything the same because it's easier. You only need one mount and you're good to go. Just throw it on. Most of I think the 36M, the Omega 36M takes.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at.
That's what I'm looking at too, Justin. That one too.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at.
A guy, a Freedom Brother at my FFL, Freedom Brothers Ammo. There's two guys in there that has that exact can. So I actually saw it and touched it, and they showed me how it's modular. You can shorten it, make it short, make it long, and he shoots it. He shoots exactly what I'm trying to do. He shoots his 9 off of it. I think he has a. What does he have? I don't know what kind of. He has some kind of. I don't know what it is, but he has some kind of short barrel 9mm PCC that he suppresses that. And he suppresses a 5.56, 11.5 inch, and then he suppresses this 8.5 inch 300 blackout. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And then they sell a 22 LR can in there. That's not that bad because I want to suppress a 22 LR too.
Yeah. But, so the thing with 22, I shot 22 out of this for a long time. before I actually got my 22 silencer. And I tell you what, you guys know how dirty 22 is. All that stuff gets caked up inside the baffles here. I had to soak this thing in CLR for like a day, and all of the stuff came out.
Are you using Leadshot?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't shoot that shit.
Well,
I'm a snob.
Still, even
only
though
hollow points, only CCI hollow points.
but the powder residue too gets in there.
Yeah,
like,
but it's not as bad as that
So
lead.
Yeah, it's definitely
suppressors
not as
that
bad
can
as the
be used
lead.
for multi-calibers,
Mhm.
do they work just as good as one that would be for like a set? You know,
A what?
that makes sense. A suppressor that you can use for multi-caliber.
Yeah.
Do they work just as good as if you were just to have, like just a suppressor that would work for one caliber? You know what I'm saying?
I can't really speak to that because I don't
I mean,
have
I know that
other than the
different calibers
22s. But
and
like,
stuff.
so for this one, and I'm sure that the Omega 36M is the same, you can get different end caps.
Mhm.
So this is a 30 cal and I have a 223 end cap, but I mean, you can shoot the 223 through this. You put the 5.56 end cap on it. It's a little bit quieter. So I mean, they also make 5.56 specific cans, which are probably more optimized for just shooting 5.56, but at the same time, then you have to buy another one if you want to shoot 300 blackout. So
no.
That's the way I understood it, is that like if you get a do-it-all can, it's going to be good or great for all the calibers you're trying to shoot.
yeah,
But you could buy a can that was specific for 300 blackout, and it's going to
Yeah.
sound better, but it's only going to shoot 300 blackout.
Right.
Yeah. I think Osama Bin Smoking, he just got a dedicated 300 blackout suppressor for one of his builds. But I was going to say about the 22s, you really don't want to shoot 22s out of something that's sealed. And what I mean by that is, so this one, you can't remove the baffles in there. Those are welded
Right.
in.
Got it.
You can't do nothing with them. But this one, and then this is similar to that other one I got, the 30 caliber. But all these baffles come out and you can clean them.
So
So
nice. That's good pro tip.
Soak them in your SC14 overnight.
Yeah.
SC14.
And
Yes, sir.
you'll be good to go. So pretty much, I don't know if there's any welded 22 silencers. I don't think there are because you have to clean them. But yeah, the 22
is that
ones.
titanium one you got that you did a video on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How much is that one?
These ones are, I think they're $4.99.
Oh, okay.
And I think you can get other ones maybe a little bit cheaper, like in the $250 to $300 range.
But what you're saying, you want it where the baffles can be, where you don't want them solid. The
No.
side. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for a 22 though, because you want to be able to clean it.
Got it.
So now those baffles, they're made out of like stainless, aluminum, steel. What are they made out of, and what is the best material for baffles to use?
On this one, the first baffle, they call it a blast baffle. It's made out of titanium, and then the rest are just aluminum because this is a 22. It doesn't really have high enough pressures to really worry about exploding. And the actual tube itself is aluminum, and then the end caps are both titanium. So really the best, I don't really know a whole lot about the materials other than I know Mark commented this on my suppressor video today. Actually, the titanium, you can't get it too hot or else it'll start to degrade. So this company, they recommend you don't get their titanium ones up to 800 degrees, which is, I mean, you really got to put a lot of rounds through it for it to
You'd have
get
to go
that
full
hot.
auto, huh? Like
Yeah.
if they're full auto, the ones that aren't full auto rated.
Yeah, which most of them are. I've seen most of them are full auto rated, but these ones, let me grab this one real quick. This one's full auto rated to 50 rounds of 5.56 and rapid fire rated for like 20 rounds of 308. So you probably shouldn't shoot. This is probably going to be best for like hunting,
Right.
something where it's super light. It's less than a pound. This one's quite a bit heavier and it's a lot smaller. So the titanium is really light, but then at the same time, you don't really have you can't really abuse it as much. Like you guys can see this one, I shot the piss out of this thing, and the coating just completely melted off of it. So
Yeah, that last one was like silver style.
yeah,
That chrome, you know.
I like that one, man.
Yeah.
I've gotten into it quite a bit, and I like shooting them.
So,
And then
that's the thing, man. So the suppression thing, that's why 2025, that was my goal, to get that part done. That's why I'm not focusing on no firearms, because I'm trying to save up and do all this and make sure I make the right purchase and get the right adapters. It's a lot to it. So that's why Citizens 2A Citizenship deal here, because
I know,
Yeah,
because
got
he's
a
got
bunch
some
of suppressors as
experience
well.
too.
Yeah.
But for me, again, like when I get buy stuff and buy firearms, it's always got to have a purpose. And I talked to David about this. I just don't be buying nothing just to be buying it. It has to have a purpose, a reason, what I'm going to do with it, and that's why the multi-caliber can make sense for me, and probably for Justin, too, because we're not going to never shoot more than one gun anyway at a time. And then for the most part, I'm not trying to have a dedicated can. That's like thousands and thousands of dollars. Some guys got it like that. Some guys get it, but it doesn't make sense for me, is what I'm saying.
Right. You got to do what makes sense for you.
So, and then really, to be honest with you, the only reason why I'm doing this is because I'm getting older, and I want to have a more lethal firearm for my home defense, and also have it more silent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to deal with the ear pro thing, putting that on at night. I would feel very confident if I had a suppressed firearm, and then I can just really go get busy and not have to worry about, tearing my ears up. Because I'm telling you right now, on the New Year's, I shot my gun in the backyard like everybody else in Louisiana, in the dirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ain't no gas lines back there, but and I ain't had nothing on. I just wanted to see. Man, that shit was loud, bro.
Yeah.
That shit was loud, and I shot a 22 and a 9mm, and this is with all kind of commotion, blah 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 going on. So, and it's still, you can still hear gunfire through fireworks. It's weird if you know gunfire. So when we hear all these fireworks, then I hear blah blah, and I go like, "Oh, that was a gun, baby." So how do you know? So how do you know all that stuff? I said, "Trust me, I can tell gunfire versus a firecracker." But it was loud, man. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. What the 22 was a lot louder than I freaking thought, because it dawned on me that I've never shot a firearm without ear protection. Yeah, I mean, that's something I don't think the average person think about. Even if you own a bunch of guns and you go to the range a lot, you've never thought for 1 second that, wait a minute, I never shot a gun without ear protection. Now, I'm sure Justin Crazy Butt has. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure you probably done it once or twice.
Really,
but you guys know what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm saying, though, right?
No, it's a lot louder than you expect.
It's loud, man. It's loud.
Especially once you get used to wearing ear pro, and then let's say like the other day, I was going out to film a video, and I had my glasses on, and I had my ear pro down around my neck, and I was getting ready to shoot the video, trying to make sure I was in frame, and I was like, okay, I'm ready, and I shot like 2 shots off, and I was like, oh man, I forgot to put my ear pro on. Once you get used to the ear pro, you don't realize how loud it is.
And that's why I want the 22 primarily in a 300 blackout. I don't see 5.56 really being in my house as home defense, but I can see 300 blackout and I can see 22 LR. Let me tell you why. Because like my wife, she's not really anti-gun, but she wants to live a long time too. So that's why I want to get the 22 LR can, because when I'm at work and she's at home, whatever, she'll feel more confident with that 22 suppressed. Because then I'll train her on and be like, hey, this is going to be quiet. You ain't going to hear this. This is soft shooting, ain't no recoil, and you can get multiple shots at the target without getting off target, because you ain't got to worry about the kick and all that stuff, because it's 22 and it's suppressed. And so that was the theory behind having 2 firearms in home defense suppressed, but one really kind of, for my wife, and then I have the other more lethal one. So I have a reason why I'm buying it, and that's it. And that's why I'm going to save up and make the right purchase and do it the right way. Ethan, I'm sure you're going to help me too. And
yeah, definitely.
But that's my reason behind it.
Yeah, so like for a pistol, you're going to need the booster.
Oh, I'm not doing a pistol.
Okay. All right.
Just the blade. Just the blade.
Just the blade. Okay. You'll just need. You could do direct mount, but I mean, you could also get some kind of muzzle attachment device. So we'll figure out what route you want to go down once you actually get it. Because
no, I'm not doing my handguns, my Glocks. I ain't got time for all that. That's just too much Call of Duty for me. I just want one multi-can, 122 can, and call it a day. That's it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I just want a 22 can and a multi-can. Maybe I get a booster to run the Omega 36 on a pistol. But
It's fun shooting the pistol
yeah,
suppressed, but then at the same time, it's like you're Luigi status at that point. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Like
my
this, it's
main
like this long, huh?
yeah, it is, dude.
yeah, my main concern is that so I'm out in the country and I don't have a lot of neighbors. They're far away, but at what point are they going to get tired of me shooting off three,
Yeah,
400 rounds in the backyard a week? So I want to be critical of that. Like, I don't want to be that neighbor. Everybody's just like, man, yeah, I do it at times that aren't, early and not late. I do it in a safe environment. But I don't want to be that guy that the neighborhood hates because, he's just constantly running off rounds. But
Right.
fine, really, honestly.
yeah.
Uh,
And they make them real quiet. Like at my in-laws' place, their house is 30 or 40 yards maybe away from where we shoot, and I'll be shooting suppressed 5.56 and like pretty much anything. They can't even hear it from inside.
mhm.
So
So availability, I'm noticing it. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong places, but the Freedom Brothers told me the 36M is not even in. So
No,
he has
it's
to put
not.
me.
It's out of
So
stock.
he put me on a waiting list.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another indicator that I might be going in the right direction with that can because you can't get it. Like,
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most popular. I'm gonna check
Well, Silencer Shop, just
Silencer
about
Shop's
everything's out.
website.
They're just about out of every multi-cal can,
Yeah,
but I do
well,
know that the Omega 36 is probably one of the better ones.
yeah,
yeah, definitely.
But
Silencer Co is a really good not promoting them or anything, but it is a
no,
really good brand. I mean,
yeah, that's what they deal with them, so that's what they go through.
yeah. Yeah, they got them on back order on the website too. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
gonna be
but
fun, man. That was
it's
the goal to get that going in 2025.
yeah, that's pretty much like the do all, the end all be all, unless you want to do 45, which they make the hybrid 46, which is pretty much the same thing as the Omega 36, but it's just bigger.
right.
I mean, I don't know if none of you guys really want to shoot 45 suppressed.
No.
Yeah.
And 45
Uh,
is naturally subsonic too. So I mean it's you throw that thing on a 1911, it's freaking dead quiet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is a nice looking can, man.
Yeah.
I like
Mm-hmm.
dang it.
It's
And
fun, man.
that top piece comes off so you can make it shorter.
Yeah,
It's
that's
gonna
all
make
that.
it a little more loud, but I mean it'll
right.
be shorter if you need it
But it's
shorter.
way more modularity to the package than most of your other ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
over here on Silencer Shop, it is on back order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a lot on back order right now. I was going to buy one the other day and get in the doghouse, but
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
halfway. I'm halfway there. I think I'm at 660 for savings on it. So,
Yeah.
right.
but that's not including all the freaking adapters and muzzle
Yeah,
brakes and that $200 tax stamp. So I'm still a long ways away.
right.
Yeah, the
But
tax stamp,
I'm using all my YouTube money for it. I figure who's
that's
gonna pay.
good.
I said who's gonna pay for this? YouTube is. That's who's paying
Yeah,
for this.
yeah.
It's gonna
Mhm.
take me longer because
Hey,
I want to use their money directly. I don't want to go in my bank account.
I don't blame you.
Capital Armory's got them in stock.
Yeah.
997.
Well, I like sleeping in the bed, in the couch, the
Stay
couch
off
is
Yeah,
really
me
couch.
too.
comfortable.
I like sleeping in the bed. I like I like making gumbo and
Yeah.
no, oh man.
Well, we kind of all know how all of our old ladies feel about firearms. Silver, what's your old lady think about them? Does she train with them? Does she go to range with
No,
you?
no, not really. I bought her that rose gold Glock 43X.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy.
She maybe picked
Woo.
it up a couple of times, and that was it. So she's not much of a shooter. She didn't come from a family
Hmm.
that kind of had firearms in the background, like I did. My dad, my grandfather, my uncles, stuff like that. So her family, they kind of didn't come around in that, but she's not against them.
Right.
And she supports me for what I do, so I appreciate that. And she's just happy that, God forbid, if something was to pop off, you know what I mean, we'll be able to handle it. We'll be able to take care of our family. So
Right.
she likes that side of it, you know what I mean? And then, of course, you know how your loved ones are, or whatever, whoever you're in a relationship with, when it comes to money spending, you know
Yep.
what
Yeah.
I mean? That's when they kind of be like, hey, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, you know what I mean? Hey, she's fine with it, man.
Right. Okay.
I
Yeah.
think what about you, Justin? Is your wife a gun girl or not? Not
Oh,
really.
my wife shot a 16 gauge for her first time when she's probably about 10 or 11. So I mean, she's no pro, but if I wasn't here and she had to pick one of these up, I would feel confident that she could take care of business.
Well, that's
But
good.
like Silver said, when the bank account starts getting empty, you run out of times that you're buying the guns for her. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm buying this one for you,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
You run out of those moments after pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Oh, I got 3 kids, so I can just say, hey, all these 22s, all
Yeah,
these
these are for
22s I'm getting are for the kids.
these are for the kids. They're not for me.
Yeah,
Right.
look how small this thing is. This would be perfect for our 6-year-old.
Yeah,
That's funny you say that because I was talking to someone. I was going to do a video on it. I was thinking like, well, I don't know what you guys think about it. So when people are buying guns, because once you start buying guns, it gets kind of addicting. So if
it
someone
does.
watching this and you just bought your first gun for Christmas or New Year's, or maybe it's your second or third, you might want to try to have a comprehensive plan. Like for example, real quick, like so someone's new watching this and they got their 2 purchases into their firearm journey. Be conscious of what you're doing and what you're buying so you don't have to make a mistake, because a lot of guys won't
Yeah.
tell you that they had bad purchases. They
Right.
won't tell you that, dang, I didn't really need to buy that, man. But they won't tell you that, because once you out there buying, you just buying, and then you look back, you go like, man, I don't need half of that stuff. So if you want to buy and not really regret, I came up with a little formula. So 5 guns you should have. You should have a bolt action. You should have some form of a 22 LR. You should have a shotgun. You should have some kind of rifle, battle rifle, 5.56 or AK, and you should have a handgun. So if you was going to start on your journey and then without getting caught up on buying anything crazy, just start with those 5 right there, right? And then if you starting to get really, really into it and you want your wife to, she's into it now. She's like, oh wow, I want to get a gun. So repeat that same formula: pistol, 22 LR, shotgun, battle rifle, AK or 5.56, and bolt action. And then you keep doing it. And if you got smaller kids, you keep repeating that same 5-gun format, because that'll never be a waste. Those 5 firearms will never be a waste of a purchase.
Right.
What happens is people want to just be all over the freaking place and buying everything. And now you don't have mag compatibility. Matter of fact, the company don't even make the freaking mags no more.
Yeah.
Or you have the barrel burnt out and I can't get another barrel to put up in it. The trigger group exploded and they don't really honor it now. So now you stuck with all that stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I buy a Glocks only, because now I have multiple parts laying all over the freaking place and multiple Glock 19s. And now I have backup parts, backup barrels, backup this, backup that. More importantly, I'm not out there bent over a barrel for these mags, because a lot of these guys don't tell you those HK USP 45 ACP mags. They're $60, bro.
Oh yeah,
They don't.
$64 for $64.99 for a 21 round fuse magazine.
Right. Even if you buy
Yeah,
a
the
CC
SIG.
Scorpion mag, is close to $80, man. So you got to figure I go get the blade, but it takes Glock mags, so I'm winning. So you have to be smart and pay attention to the mag compatibility, aftermarket support. Pay attention to buying something that's out of the realm of what you're really gonna do, and that's why I say stick with the 5 firearm formula: shotgun, bolt action, this, that, and the other, and you never get burnt. You can never have too many 22 LRs. You never have too many shotgun. You can never have too many bolt actions. You can never have too many AR-15s. But once you say I want an AR-15, now I want an AK, now I want that, now you all over the place.
Yeah, and then you got
Yeah.
all that extra cost and trying to fulfill those needs of that other platform.
Yes, sir.
That don't translate over to your other ones.
Maybe expand out from a shotgun pump to maybe getting you a good semi-auto. That's still the same platform, but now it's just faster.
Yeah.
So, but don't overextend and be like, oh man, I need to get this because 1911, I gotta have that. Well, did you know you check out the mags? They cost $59 each. It only shoots 9 shots. It's heavy. It's full steel. Are you gonna carry it? What did you buy it for?
Right.
So that's just my advice to someone watching it. You can buy a lot of guns, but make sure you're buying in a footprint that you already have, and it be multi usage by people in your household, not just something that nobody can use.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I like about the platypus.
Yeah.
I wanted a 2011, but I had that T sauce for a little bit, but like you were saying, the mags are $60 a piece. it wasn't really top of the line or anything like that. It was real sloppy and loose with the slide and the frame fitment. But this platypus, it's rock solid and it takes Glock Mags. So
Yeah.
Well, you can find some products out there like Silver. What was that company that you had got the Glock conversion kit mag
MCK.
yeah.
yeah,
So
those are good too.
yeah, so you can there's a few things you can do to get outside the realm to make you something special, and keep it within your five, right? Or
Absolutely.
within your capability. So
Mhm.
you just got to do your research.
You know what I
Yeah.
was thinking, eyes and ears? The MCK, what's the barrel length on that blade? 8 inches or
No,
6?
that one's, yeah, that's the 6 inch I have.
Okay.
Mhm.
I was gonna say the barrel length's a little bit longer, so you're gonna have more velocity and stuff. But say you didn't want to buy another gun, if you had a Glock, you wanted a little PCC, the MCK or the Recover Tactical,
Mhm.
those are both great options to have something you can, shoulder and be more
And they
accurate
do
with it.
make barrel extensions for them too. I believe they
Yep.
make a 16-inch barrel
They do.
extension. And then
Yeah.
Oh
plus
yeah,
you
you
can
can drop
like
it. Basically, the kit, you can drop any barrel you want in your gun.
Yep.
You just slide it inside the kit. But they have that new Glock conversion kit. That one was like I think the gun guy has it.
Oh yeah, I
It's
know
like a
exactly what you're
rifle.
talking
It's like
about.
a
Yeah.
rifle or whatever.
Yeah, you
But
put the
The
16
bullpup.
inch barrel in the
Yeah.
Glock.
yeah, but
Yeah, that's
my
pretty
my
cool.
MCK kit is the original one,
Yep.
Gen 2, I believe, and I love that thing. And you're absolutely right. It's all integrated. Got the built-in light thumb rest. Well, I took those off now, but yeah, it's
Oh, I forgot
um,
you had one already.
yeah, compact and but for me, I just wanted something that was I didn't want to. I guess I didn't want to have two of my pistols out,
Oh yeah.
one on me and then one inside of a kit. I thought,
Yeah.
well, just get an actual PCC.
Yeah, and I did notice when I had my MCK that when the Glock
They're
goes up
fun.
in there, it's not perfectly straight. So if you're running a red dot or something, I mean, it could probably not enough to matter in a self-defense situation, but
No.
when you're shooting targets trying to hit the center, it's going left and right a little bit.
Yeah.
I noticed
You
that
don't,
it didn't get perfectly straight back in the same place every single time.
right, and you only can run just factory Glock sights on it because
Yeah.
anything that's elevated, it won't close, and
Right.
the hood won't close on you. So you're kind of limited what sights you can put on there too. But then again, you put it inside of a chassis, and then you have a whole optic on top. So it is what it is.
And that's one thing I liked about the Recover brace over the MCK is because it's an open top.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
mean,
If I had to do ever again, I probably got the Recover Tactical one.
you don't have a top rail, which they do make the top rail that goes on the front, but you could just run if you got a red dot on your Glock already, you could just use that. But yeah, that I like it. I think they just came out with something new too. I'm gonna try to see if I can get one, but it's similar to the Flux Raider, to where it's like it's the pistol chassis like this, and then you push a button and the stock pops out the back.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pretty cool.
I think now, in light of now I think probably now I would say probably in the last probably since COVID, clearly COVID, because that's when the gun market exploded.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers that I saw during COVID, like from all the gun shop and FFL guys I spoke to, they said it was absolutely phenomenal. So now, new president, all this stuff going down, you're going to see another flux of brand new gun owners coming into the market, and you're going to see people that were pretty much anti-gun that's going to be like buying guns. It's two different things though, because there's people still aren't really necessarily Second Amendment, but they pro-life, meaning they're okay with buying a gun to protect themselves, but they're not really down for the whole gun community. And I think that's going to be the next fastest growing community. Is going to be people actually owning guns, but they out there saying they're not actually out there supporting it, so to speak. Because for the most part, before all this stuff went down, when I was first got into guns when I was younger, everybody was pro-gun, and then all of a sudden, when certain cases happen and certain incidents happen and crime waves and all that kind of stuff, and then clearly, all the urban rap music and stuff didn't help the gun community, in my opinion, but they were propped up by millionaire ARR producers, people that were making big time money was producing this music. However, all that gun wave and stuff, it didn't help the 2A community in America. It actually made more restricted states be more restricted because of the sensationalizing of you know, of the industry. So it's kind of, you really, firearms are probably one of the most political subjects in our country, to be honest with you, is when you really strip everything down in our country, it comes back to the gun, like, and that's a driving force. And that's why these politicians use that every time. They'll take a tragic incident and use those victims to push their agenda.
Yeah.
And so with the French Quarter incident, the thing that I noticed is that they didn't push so much like about criminality on this one because he used the vehicle. Now, had he went down there with a firearm and shot up 16
it'd have been a totally different story. We would. Man, let me tell you, the mere fact that he got taken down by cops with a firearm and he shot at the police, that ain't even a topic. It's not even a topic, because the reason why all those victims, rest in peace, all of them, got taken out by a vehicle.
Yeah.
So now, where are y'all at now? Are y'all gonna be anti-vehicles now? Because that's what death is, death, right? What does it matter if somebody gets shot with a gun or get ran over by a car? That's what that showed me, is that the political people who are pushing the buttons and sending messages, they stayed away from that one, man. I was watching, I'm waiting, I'm like, what are they gonna talk about? What are they gonna talk about? Nothing? You have nothing to say? Nothing? Oh, rest in peace to the victims for sure, but nothing? Because we know if he came out there and mowed down 16 people with an AR-15, man, that'd have been like, this is why we need to ban ARs. This is why he had a 60-round drum on him. Why would you need that? Why is that in the general public? Or, and he did have a long gun with a suppressor on it. Thank God he didn't use it, because they'd be talking about, see, this is why you don't need suppressors. He was on top of the building and he was taking people out. And, so I found this one pretty interesting, man. It was really interesting. Like I said, my heart goes out to every last one of those victims. But boy, let me tell you, if they got taken out by an AR-15 or a Glock with a switch on it, whoo, that would have been the end of it.
Game over.
Game over.
I think there's a couple states they're trying to sue Glock for the switches, which I don't even know. I don't even know if Glock actually makes those. I think those are like some Chinese things they order on Alibaba.
No, I think they're trying to sue him because Glock, they make it so easy.
Oh, they make it so easy.
I
guess, but I mean, that could be said for anything. Like I could get a paper clip or whatever and bend it up and throw it in this AR and make it full auto. But
the French Quarter massacre again debunks that. You don't need a switch to do evil things. You don't need a firearm to do evil things. You could have flew a drone over there and dropped poisonous powder all over people, and then what you'd have been saying, ban drones? I mean, this is so foolish, man. It's like,
it's always the person behind it.
Firearms, most people who shoot each other know each other, first of all, so let's get past that, or it's murder-suicide. That's the highest death rate with firearms. So this whole myth of, oh man, you got to ban that because then that wouldn't happen. They'll just find another way. This guy just did it right in front of you in real time. I'll just drive around the barricade.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about here? Evil is evil. You can't, the minute you said, oh yeah, man, I built this whole wall right here, they ain't gonna be able to get us now. And also I got a camera right there too. And I got that. Well, little did you know, they dug a tunnel underneath your home.
Exactly.
Yep.
They hear you ass building a 40-foot wall and they digging 40 feet deep.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely ludicrous, man. And I think that's why now you're gonna start seeing, because once the FBI took over this investigation, getting a little bit off topic, I noticed that they went immediately to like, he wasn't working with nobody. He wasn't working with anyone. They pumped that out quick. I was like, oh wow. So now I know they were working with somebody.
Exactly.
So it's just gonna be I think it's gonna be a surge of firearm being bought, because, and not to mention now that these Ring cameras are showing all the home invasions and the smash and grabs. People are now starting to, the light bulb is going off, going like, man, I need to have a gun when I go to the mall. I need to have this. Then you're going to start seeing people around you, you're going to start hearing about, you're going to see more gun tubers popping up. You're going to see a whole flux of people in 2025 gravitating toward firearms, because now there's too much video footage of evil being exacted on people. And then the video I put up 2 weeks ago, the one where they look at the camera saying, shut up, I'm trying to rob your house. Like, that, come on, man. Come on, man. So if you're one of those people that's like, I don't need a gun, and these guys are pointing at your Ring camera saying, fuck you, and shut the hell up while I steal all your shit. So go back and eat your Starbucks and be quiet. They're taunting homeowners. They're taunting people who work hard for their stuff.
They gonna taunt Ricky.
No.
But Ricky go and
Yeah.
put a hurting on them.
So that's going to drive the firearm industry again. That's going to be another surge for them, just like the COVID surge hit, and that's going to be another surge for them. But what I was getting at, though, and I'm done with that subject, is that this could have easily went the other way if that guy would have used a firearm. Man, so they use a Tesla Cybertruck, blow that up. Thank God he didn't use a gun over there. He uses another heavy EV car and use it to mow down people. God, my heart goes out to all of them, rest in peace.
Yes.
But boy, oh boy, if he would have used a AR-15 type rifle or anything like that, man, I think we all of us be having ATF saying like, turn your shit in right now. Like they would come for our guns big time, because that's an historic city, an historic site, and that would have been the ugliest stain ever on a firearm. So thank God that he crashed into that crane and he shot at the cops. He didn't shoot at more innocent people. Unfortunately, they did live, but they put the guy down. And what I have to applaud them on is that they ran to the threat. They didn't do like some of these other agencies, he get behind cover. And no, man, I saw some extra videos. They running right to the threat, guns out, like real time, like not afraid, like, hey, I might meet my fate right now. But they did their jobs, man. I got given OPD credit. They showed bravery and
there's
valor.
A lot of brave, good cops out. There's a lot of brave, good cops out there. That's something that we have to remember when we see these footage of cops that aren't doing the right thing, and they're still the good ones out there.
Oh no, Justin, for sure. I'm the biggest critique of them. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want when someone says that, not you personally, but I'm just saying, can you please send me some videos of cops doing good things?
Right.
I'm just waiting. I'm searching around, I'm scouring the internet, and I can't find one story.
They don't send none of those out, brother.
They don't send I can't find a retired cop that's sitting on his couch with a cigar doing a podcast saying, "Man, I had all these good cops around me." They all telling bad stories about the people they work with.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. But I agree with you though. They do exist. Man, my niece is a cop in Dallas. My buddy's a cop up there in Santa Rosa, California. Good dude, man. Play ball with him, sweet dude. But they even tell me on the side, like, dang, Brown, you're right. But, man, why you be going in on this? I'm like, hey, I ain't me doing it. Just y'all doing it. Y'all so they tell me straight up, like, you ain't lying, though. You're not lying.
Yeah.
Because here's the reason why. And I think everybody knows why. The really, really good cops can't speak out because they get a target on their head.
Absolutely.
Evil is evil, man. Let's call it.
Absolutely.
What it is.
But I think you were getting into the criminals. You're showing all the home invasion footage and all that stuff. And I think that's really one of the main reasons people like to tune into your channel is to see that stuff, because they're not going to see it anywhere else. I mean, you get most of it from the KTLA, which is a local news. So I mean, not everybody's tuning into KTLA. They're tuning into the big networks if they even watch the news. They see your channel, home invasion, or criminal 3-armed thugs break into whatever. They're seeing that. They're watching the video. They're actually seeing this, and then you're talking about it. Say, hey, this is why you guys need to buy a firearm. And I think that's your channel in particular. I know there's probably a bunch of channels that do that similar style content where they show the news clips and talk about it, but I think that's a big driving factor in the new gun ownership too. Because how many of those people watching
we can see a video and you see 4 suspects coming in, or a guy pretending to be an Amazon delivery guy knocking on the door, and 3 dudes running around the back door and they got rifles and firearms on. You can't erase that out your mind now. And then the whole thing about it, I show all over the country where this happened. Like New York City, the guy got followed and all this kind of stuff. And the guy in Corona, California, that I don't know what that was about. Just following them around for 30 minutes, tracking the car and all that, whatever. But my point is that I think for the first time now that the media on the West Coast is doing really good reporting. And David knows about LA, so they got helicopters that just follow high-speed chases all over Los Angeles all day. They got a whole segment for that. And these networks in LA, they get paid big time money. These reporters, these street reporters and crime reporters, they're like some of the highest paid people in the newsroom. So they're getting a how do you call it? They're getting a data boy from their bosses and their editors saying, go find out what happened over there. Go Go over there and do it. And we're gonna run it. We're gonna run it. And LA is such a big place, with a lot of tourism. They're not gonna hide it. You know what I'm saying? I was saying some cities hide stuff. Los Angeles has never been a city where you can hide shit. It always shows its ugly head all the time. It's gonna come out. And by them jumping ahead of and showing the stuff, it makes them credible is what I'm getting at. It makes their news network more credible. Like when they're showing a home invasion with 5 dudes in there, that's crazy. Some towns wouldn't want to do that because people wouldn't want to move there. They wouldn't want to buy a house there or something.
Exactly.
Because they'll think like, oh, that only happens there. It's like, no, it can happen here too. But your news in your town ain't gonna show that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I got one little thing I want to speak on, and then I've got to get out of here. But recently I told you guys my father-in-law had passed, and he was a Vietnam War vet.
Sorry for your loss there.
Yeah, brother. Y'all told me, and that's he struggled with PTSD from the war, the Vietnam War, and it got me thinking about a build I'm going to do to try to bring some light to that. When we think of PTSD now, it's from Iraq, Afghanistan war veterans, but we still have Vietnam War veterans in our society that are still struggling with that. And all PTSD is bad PTSD, but I just want to challenge everybody to get out this week and do something for a veteran, and do something to let them know that we are appreciative of what they did for us and what they have to live with because of us. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a little build for him on the channel, and just kind of bring a little awareness to that. But the challenge is if you guys out there watching this, you guys here in the stream, just go out and do something for a vet. Let them know that you care, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have these firearms we're talking about right now. We wouldn't be living in these homes we're living in right now. And there's a lot of them that are struck with mental illness afterwards to give us those things. So let's just try to get out and do something for them this week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good
sounds like a plan.
I like that.
Good note to end it on. Support veteran-owned businesses when you can.
Absolutely.
One more quick thing before we end this.
Hold on, Ethan, I'm sorry.
All right.
I was going to say with Justin Peck, if someone's watching this stream and don't know where to start to try to help a veteran, start at your local VA.
Yeah.
Look up your local VA, contact them, and just flat out say, hey, look, I want to do something for some veterans. Is there any veteran? They might say, yeah, we got a whole floor down here with wounded veterans and guys that you want to come talk to them or bring them some snacks, whatever it may be. So just anybody watching it, that would be probably your fastest route to find out, like, how can I help a veteran? Start with the local VA.
Right.
All right.
You see a guy out in public wearing a Desert Storm hat,
Yeah.
The veteran hats they wear.
Yeah, the veteran hat, yeah.
The older gentlemen wear it. You see one of them out in public wearing something, maybe buy their lunch that they're sitting down at the table eating. Do something just to let them know that you care. I'm going to do that for, veteran this week. Just encourage everybody else to do that. And just let them know that you care, because that's gonna mean a lot to those who are struggling with these kind of things. And it's something we need to do better at as a country.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one more thing. I have a little challenge for 2025 for all of us, since, Justin, your wife seems to be the most experienced gun shooter, but you don't have to film it or anything, but just try to get your wives or girlfriends or whatever out to the range with you at least, a few times. Try to get them at least comfortable with a gun in case they ever had to use it. So that's my challenge. Get your wives or girlfriends to the range and get them a little bit of training.
That'd be a good video. I teach my wife how to conceal carry.
Yeah, because I got a couple shorts 6 years ago. I was letting my girlfriend at the time, shoot the AK, and wait till you guys see this. It's pretty bad, and then I'm sure you guys have seen her shoot the shotgun in that one video. So yeah, we're gonna work on her. I want her to at least be able to be comfortable with a pistol. So if I wasn't around and somebody broke in the house and she's here with the kids or something, she'll be able to defend herself.
Yep.
Or like going out to the store or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Hey man,
think,
wait man. Hey, good show, man. Good show. Hopefully we can get Citizen 2A Citizen on here next time.
yep.
And everybody who's watching, appreciate it. And definitely keep tuning in. And if you guys got any suggestions, anybody watching this, when you watch this replay, just put it in the box if you want to hear us talk about, or if you have any of your favorite gun tubers you want us to bring on here, or somebody you think that would be interesting to listen, tell some stories. Definitely a veteran. We'll take military veteran all day, every day.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if you know some guys that are FFL holders, or guys that know their way around the firearm community, reach out to us, and we'll definitely. It doesn't matter who you reach out to. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, and I was just thinking for next week, you guys want to try to get a guest on? We can reach out to somebody and try to get it scheduled for next week.
I'm trying to get Yoki Stirrup. God, she reached out to me on one of my last videos. I don't know if y'all on my live. I did a live that did really well. I was kind of shocked. Like 70. It was I think the most in that live was 72 people,
Nice.
and like 2,700 views, which is my most viewed live to this day. And it was a lot of big time tubers jumping in there. I was kind of the regular gun guy jumped in there. The gun huddicks. I don't know if you guys know Trent, the gun huddicks. And then Yoki jumped in there, and she literally said, like, I need to link up with you so so I can get you on my platform. And so maybe I can reach out to her. That'd be pretty
awesome.
cool. Because I would like to get a female gun tuber on, like,
Her collection's crazy.
Yeah, like
She's
she
got a
fires.
crazy collection.
Yeah, she fires. I know her, and I know Summer shoots. So I'm trying to get one of them, and they're pretty good speakers too. They're used to the camera, so
Yeah.
it'd be something. I think females pew pew. I think it's a couple of them, and yeah, man, that's something we can do.
Yeah, see
But
if you can set that up for next week.
yeah, I'll try to do best I
Get in
can.
touch.
Best I can. All I can do is ask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If not, I mean, no big deal.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can get somebody else or just do the 4 or 5 of us. So
Practical Civilian was interested in coming
yeah.
on. He wants to tell his story about how his guns got
forgot
stolen.
about that.
Yeah, so
I actually was thinking about that a while back too, but it slipped my mind. But yeah, it would be cool to hear his story. I mean,
maybe
we all saw his video.
Yeah, maybe Osama been smoking. He'll be a good guy to bring
Yeah,
up.
he would.
He knows how to do those long mile shots and stuff like that. So yeah, man, just keep going, guys. Keep doing the best you can. David, I really appreciate all the swag, man.
Yeah.
You the
Big
king.
ups. Big ups.
No problem, you guys.
And
you
know
guys
Dave's
already
got to
know.
take us out.
Man,
No
you the
problem.
king, man. I'm sorry, man. These pins and stuff, man. I mean, you're just a really talented brother, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys too. You guys already know, man. No problem.
Well, you got to take us out, brother. We can't do it without you.
Yep.
All right, man. Here we go. Hey, we appreciate you guys watching the podcast, and you guys already know the deal. If you like the podcast, like the podcast. If you ain't subscribed to the 2A Team's channels, well, damn, subscribe to our channels, man. And with that being said, we'll see you all on the next one.